Hey guys, and welcome back to my nail journal. So I'm finally going to be showing you how I did the ocean nail look. I'm going to be showing you on a swatch, but it's going to be the same thing of how I did it on my nails. I'll throw a picture up right here. So yeah, I know, a week later, sorry about that. But I'm using a new light and a new microphone, and I know you can hear the air conditioner on in the background. I apologize, but I can't shut it off, it's too hot. Also, you know, if you're new here, I have kids and I have animals, so you're probably going to hear them in the background at some point throughout the video. So the colors that I use to achieve this, I used Cowgirl in the Sand by Miss Raven for obviously the sand color. It's a lighter sand color, but it worked perfect. And then for the ocean, I used Tricky Turquoise by Triple D. This is a perfect ocean color because it's not too blue or too green. It's that like great mixture. So I just really love this as ocean color. And then my ocean, I wanted to give it a little bit of a sparkle. You know how sometimes when you look out at the ocean and the sun hits it, it almost looks like it's sparkling. So to achieve that, I used JudeNailsIt's Nail Sugar in CO4. And these are available right now. It's June 22nd when I'm filming this. And these, along with her liquids and her starter kit and so much more, launch with her website. So these should be available now. I'll try to link everything down in the description box below. And yeah, so you will need to use gel with this. That's the only way I know how to make this work, because you are going to be doing sort of like the sugaring method to get this textured, more detailed effect. But yeah, other than that, let's get right into the tutorial. Okay, you're also going to need a few brushes. So I have these Wet n Wild brushes. I'm not sure exactly what kind they are, but they're sort of smaller, so I'm guessing that they're going to be like, they're probably crease brushes. Yeah, I don't know. So anyway, you're going to need two of them, one for each of the dip powder color, and then one for the nail sugar as well. I always, when it comes to smaller glitter ombres, I like to use this one from e.l.f. It's their like small crease brush. All of these brushes are like $1 if you go to the Dollar Tree. And then also some cupcake liners, because you're going to basically be doing an ombre. So let's go ahead and just get started. Okay, so I do realize that you guys can hear the air conditioner blowing in the background. Again, I apologize for that, but I'm not going to shut the air conditioner off. It's just too hot. So I'm going to get a couple cupcake liners out, and I like to kind of stretch them out a little bit so I know that they'll catch everything. And then keep your brushes, whichever one you're going to use. Like if you're going to use this one for the blue and this one for the sand, continue to use that brush. So kind of keep them next to the cupcake liners. Now whenever I'm doing an ombre, I like to use a liquid that is really slow drying. So if you've been through the whole process of testing out different liquids and maybe there was one that was so slow that you hated it, don't throw that away, because it's great for ombres. So like I have this bin liquid, which this stuff takes forever to dry, but when you're doing ombre, that's like perfect because you don't have to rush. So I'm going to go ahead and pour out my Tricky Turquoise and one of the cupcake liners. Again, that's our ocean color. And then Cowgirl in the Sand in the other one, because again, that's our sand color. So when doing this, what I did here is you're going to want to almost ombre the ocean color and the sand color sort of halfway, because when you go to do the sugar method for the textured part of the sand, you're going to bring that a little bit lower. But this part where you've ombreed it will still show up, and it kind of makes it look like the ocean's hitting that sand. If that doesn't make sense, you'll understand while we're doing that, okay? I'm going to go ahead and apply our liquid. Let me open my bottle here. Cover the entire nail. Don't worry about it getting too thick, because whenever you do the ombre method or the method where you're sprinkling, the layers never get too thick. So I'm going to start off with my sand color, and again, I'm going to go about halfway up. You can maybe keep it a little lower than halfway, but you want it to cover a good portion of this bottom part of the nail. And again, use liquids that are really slow if you can. And so tap that off, and then now I'm going to do the rest for the ocean. This liquid also, I don't know if it's because it dries so slow, but it soaks up the powders really quick. So that's why I kind of continue until I've noticed that it's not coming through too wet anymore. Tap that off. So now you have your first layer. You're going to want to do this about 3 times. I'll fast forward a little bit through the second and third layer, and then we'll come back after I get to that third layer finished. Okay, we're going to go again, cover the entire nail. And it's okay if it doesn't look perfect, because you're going to do that sort of sugar effect, and that will help hide mistakes. So let's start off with the sand again. I'm also not the biggest worried about these blending perfectly. So there's kind of our second layer. It looks a little crazy because I haven't brushed it off, so it looks like everything's all mushed together. But when I did my nails, I kept it at just the second layer. I didn't do the third because I felt like it was pigmented enough, but that's totally up to you. So you have a little wet spot right back here. That's totally up to you how pigmented you want this. So you either need to do 2 or 3 layers. Okay, so now there's the second layer brushed off. And I think I am going to do a third layer and try to bring the sand up just a little bit more. It's really up to you where you position these colors. Do you want more ocean? Do you want more sand? But you do want to bring the sand up just a little bit more than okay, like if you're imagining where you want your sand to be, bring the sand color up just a little bit higher, because when you go to sugar the sand color on in a little bit, you want some of that sand to be mixed in with that water above the sugared part, because it's going to make it look like that's the part of the sand that's sort of under the water, where the water's like came in. Let me see. Then I'm going to let this set a little bit and let it dry. And then I'll come back and show you, since that's the third layer, what it looks like. Okay, so now here is 3 layers of doing that ombre technique. Now I'm going to leave that as it is. So keep your sand color and the same cupcake liner you used for it and the same brush you used for it aside, because you will be using that again. And now what I'm going to do is clear cap this, which is kind of optional, but I just really like to clear cap it. So I'm going to get a clean cupcake liner out. Actually, no, I'm not. This is just like a. I'm just going to use let me a secret clear, because this isn't on my nails. If it was on my nails, I would top it off with the JudeNailsIt clear, but this would be good enough for a demonstration. So now I'm going to use my regular base that I like to use, which these are now available, you guys. They launched with her new website. So, and now I'm just going to clear cap it. It doesn't need multiple layers, just like 1 layer of clear on there. So once that clear dries, then you're going to activate it, file and buff like you normally would as if you're finishing, and then that's when it gets interesting and you start adding gel top coat and we start doing the sort of like sugar method. Okay, so a lot of girls have been asking me, because you know I used the same nail sugar from JudeNailsIt to do this, and this is going to be the same premise, kind of, but not really, because when you're doing a full nail sugar you want to pour that on over everything, but this one's going to be separated into 2 parts because you're sugaring the sand color and you're sugaring the glitter color, so it's a little different, but it's kind of the same premise. So we'll come back once I have this dried, activated, and I'm going to file and shape it, and then I'm going to come back to you with the gel and the sugaring method. So I just want to show you something real quick. This isn't filed or anything. All I've done is brush that clear off and added the activator. This is not a perfect ombre. This is not very good when it comes to a smooth ombre. That's the beauty about doing the ocean nail. It does not have to be a perfect ombre, and that's just like what was stuck in my clear. That'll probably file off, but it doesn't have to be perfect, because you're just looking for more realistic. It's not going to be completely realistic because it's a nail, but the ocean and the beach, when that sand from the beach kind of mix together, you're going to have spots that go out a little farther or sink back a little bit. You know, it's not meant to be perfect. So when you're doing the ocean nail, have fun with it. Don't worry about it being perfect. It's going to look great at the end, and I'm going to show you. Okay, so just keep that in mind while I wait for this to dry so I can file, buff, and shape it. Okay, now I've got it filed and everything. Again, it's not a perfect ombre, It's not supposed to be. So now this is where you're going to need your gel top coat. I'm going to use my Coupa Gelfinity. This is my favorite top coat. It's what I have on my nails right now. Again, my nails are like a week old, so they're not perfect. But anyway. And if you like using dip with the gel method, Coupa just came out with the Dipfinity line. So it's gel but for dip, in case you're wondering. Anyway, and we're going to get our sand color ready again. So we're going to pour a little bit back out into the cupcake liner. The way I do this, I just applied the gel top coat as if I was done with my nails. So I just apply it like normal, not too thin, not too thick. And I'm going to coat the entire nail. This top coat is like liquid glass. If you guys are looking for a really good gel top coat, I promise, check out Coupa Gelfinity. Okay, we're going to get the same brush we used earlier for the sand. This time I'm going to aim the sand sort of a little bit lower. And you want to kind of pile this on because we want it to be textured. You can have some of it match up to the sand underneath the gel, some of it not, because again, it's not meant to be perfect. It's not meant to be like a straight line or the perfect blend. You can tap the excess off. Now, on my other swatch and on my nail, I did a heart in the sand. You can do that if you want. The way I did it on this swatch, I used a toothpick and I really carved out that heart. The way I did it on my nails, I just used a pen. It's sort of like a safety pin type deal. I used this to peel off my sticker decals, just like a little pen. So all you gotta do, I got like a paper towel handy just to wipe it off. Again, this is totally optional. I've seen people do like feet prints with dotting tools, so it's up to you. It's not gonna be perfect, my hands are kind of shaky. Okay, when I do the first layer, whenever I lift the pen up or the toothpick up, I kind of wipe the edge off. Not perfect, but that's okay. So now, again, I have not cured this gel. I've just applied it, right? So be careful with it because it's wet. You don't want to move everything around too much. So now I'm going to take my nail sugar from JudeNailsIt and my real tiny small brush, because I don't want to dump it on like I did here. I want it for detail. So I want a real small sprinkle of it. I'm just going to kind of hold this over to catch any excess. I'm going to get a little bit on my brush. Again, I just want a sprinkling of it like that. Just enough where when the sun hits it, it looks like the ocean is sparkling, yeah? So now, whenever you do the sugar method, where you're putting glitter or something on top of an uncured gel top coat, you want to cure that gel top coat just a little bit longer than what you would normally. So for me, with the type of lamp that I have, it's 80 watts, and so I usually cure my top coat with just 60 seconds. Whenever I'm just doing like normal top coat and done. But since I've sugared, the last time I did this, I did it for 1 minute and 30 seconds. So we're going to come back once this... Okay, this is fully cured. I forgot to mention, you want to make sure you're using a gel top coat that does not have a sticky layer when it's done. You want a non-wipe gel top coat. The Coupa one is non-wipe. I heard that Triple D's new gel top coat is non-wipe. I think Vivi Dip, is that how you pronounce it? I think that's non-wipe. I know Kira Skies is, and I know Many Moguls is. Okay, most of them nowadays are non-wipe, but just keep that in mind. You don't want a sticky layer under this because now this is completely done. So this is completely cured. It soaked up everything. You can kind of do this to make sure you've wiped off any excess, but it soaked up everything. And so now here's the finished look. I kind of went a little too far up with the sand. You can still kind of see in real life, because there's a difference between, you know, the textured portion and the not. But hopefully you can tell what I meant by some of the ombre underneath kind of pops up and it makes it look like it's wet. Makes it look like the ocean is on top and that's just like a shallow part on the beach, right? The heart's kind of disturbingly shaped, but it's just weird looking. But anyway, you get the idea. Again, if you want the like carved out part, see this one I kept the textured portion a lot lower. So it's up to you. If you keep it a lot lower, you'll have more of this previous sand kind of coming through. But anyway, it's really good because underneath the textured sand is more sand that looks kind of wet. So if you want to carve out the whole shape, use a toothpick. If you want more like fine details, like if you used to draw maybe, I don't know, a letter to your name, like if I wanted to draw a K I could, you know, something like that, then use the pen. But there is the finished look, and I love using the nail sugar on top of the ocean. Again, I use the nail sugar CO4 because it has kind of a bluish green tint to the sugar anyway, and to me it just looks like the sun shining on the ocean and it's kind of just catching glitters, right? But there's the tutorial on how I did the ocean nails, and on my picture the like sunset colors, I believed I used Triple D, Very Berry, and Tropics. I do believe that's the colors I used for like kind of like a sunset. And then the decals that you saw on my picture of my nails, I'll probably like throw the picture up here again, was all from We Live Glitter Design, their like summer decal collection. But yeah, there's the finished look. You guys, it's really easy when you break it down. It's just a simple ombre of the ocean and sand color, and it doesn't even have to be a perfect ombre at all. You don't have to worry about it being perfect. You don't have to worry about that blend being perfect. You're just meant to have fun with it. And just the only thing you really need to think about is the placement. How far up do you want the sand, or how low? You can move it all around. So, and the only thing that you really need is the gel. And if you mess up on the gel because you don't cure it until you're done, you can easily wipe it off and start again. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm sorry it took me so long to get this video out. I kind of was waiting on my new equipment because I knew I wanted to order a new light and a new mic, so I hope that the lighting is a lot better than what it normally is, and I just kind of waited till I got those in. Anyway, again, thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing that, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye!